Hello there, friends. Welcome to episode 75 of That One Gaming Podcast. My name is Colin, but I'm otherwise known as Delicious Morsels, and here today with me is Lucas, aka Carnevil9. How are you doing today, Lucas?
I'm doing pretty good. You?
Awesome. I am doing all right. And we've also got Neal here, better known as VMK89. How is Neal today?
I'm doing way past swell.
Whoa, that's so far more beyond swell than the usual swell. Wow. If you're new to this podcast, welcome. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, or one of the many other podcasting platforms out there where the three of us get together every other week to talk about a variety of topics in the world of gaming. And this week, Sonic Month continues as we look back at the highly acclaimed trilogy of movies based on the Blue Blur. Fair warning, this retrospective will include spoilers, so if you have not seen these movies yet, especially the third one since it's still relatively new, then be sure to go watch them before listening to our main topic discussion. Speaking of which, before we get to that, we'd like to talk about the games that we have been playing since the last episode. So Lucas, what have you been playing?
I still haven't really been playing a whole lot because of my thumb, but
Oh no.
did play a little bit of Ratchet and Clank multiplayer last weekend with
Oh yeah,
Neal and
Yeah.
one of our friends at Magic Night.
that was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny that me and Lucas, having played Ratchet and Clank, our friend who has never played it, our friend was just wiping the floor with both of us the
Yep.
majority of it.
Yeah. Basically any map with a space or with a flying vehicle in it, like we were just donezo.
Mhm.
And then complete reversal. There was one map that we were on that only had like a turret out in the middle of it for like usable vehicles, but it had blitz guns and blitz gun ammo. And I think we tied that one.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
I think you might have like tied on deaths but won on kills, or vice versa.
Yeah, we tied on kills, but they had fewer deaths.
That's what it was. Yeah.
But yeah, we got the like Unreal Tournament 99 with Lucas and a flak gun experience there.
Yep. Blitz gun is so good.
Yeah.
It is. It's weird, but also kind of nice that they use the weapon names from Ratchet 2 for all the multiplayer weapons.
Yeah.
Instead of the Ratchet and Clank 3 is going back to Gadgetron weapons. So you get like, I think it was called the shock cannon, was what they called the blitz gun. But yeah, that was ton of fun. Been wanting to do that for ages at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fun, and a PlayStation 4 DualShock was a lot more forgiving on my thumb than any D-pad has been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe it.
So
yeah,
what
it's a good
has
time.
Q? So what has Neal been playing?
Let's see. When did we last talk? 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
Something like that.
I think, okay. I had just gotten Sonic and X Shadow Generations that week. And that's mostly what I've been playing, is Sonic X Shadow Generations. I think I mostly talked about this last week, or last time. I am still just going through Sonic Generations without even touching the Shadow half. I don't know if I'm 100%ing more than I did by the end of it, but I'm definitely 100%ing more of the challenges and stuff as I'm going along. I haven't even unlocked the third era, the modern era of levels, which is a bit of a bummer because I don't have Rooftop Run. But yeah, that game is just a ton of fun, and the base mechanics are great. They did going from Unleashed to Colors to Generations. Everything feels great. My only real note is I looked it up, and yes, Amy is nerfed in the opening cutscene.
For shame.
The original, she smacks Knuckles in the face to push him away from Sonic, as she wants to get at Sonic. Knuckles is, I don't know, shaking his hand or something like that. But in the original, she smacks his face and he goes flying back and hits a tree. In this version, she just kind of holds his face back. I don't, I don't know
That seems
why
like a
they
weird
changed
change.
that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe they have power scaling requirements now that Sega wants to abide by.
But
Or
Amy is
they should
very
just
canonically
canonically be
very powerful.
the most powerful one.
Yeah, Knuckles is stronger. I think Amy is powerful, but not as powerful as Knuckles.
He's definitely the powerfulest of the girls. Well, man, no, that I shouldn't. I can't actually make that statement, not having played many Sonic games or read much of the comic, because I
Yeah.
know that characters like Surge exist.
Right. Yeah.
It's like halfway through saying, "Well, yeah, Amy's probably the strongest character or girl character," and then I remembered Surge halfway through that sentence. It's like,
Yeah.
hmm,
Yeah.
I don't know
Surge
about
can go
that
toe to
statement anymore.
toe. Surge can go toe to toe with Sonic and give him a running for his money.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, it is nice that they added more dialogue to the cutscenes. It was always really weird where when you completed both acts of a level, whichever Sonic you used last would talk to the character that you unfroze. But like because Classic Sonic can't say anything because they didn't give him a voice actor, they didn't give modern Sonic any voice lines either in the original.
Weird.
And it came off really weird, especially with some of them. I think last night I mentioned Cream. Cream has some line about like I was really scared. I was trapped in a white space. And in the original, Sonic just kind of stands there and looks at her. It's like, rude, comfort her. What are you doing? So that's fixed. I forget exactly what he says, but he says some kind of nice thing if you play it with modern Sonic.
Huh.
Which also, I recommend playing Act 1 first with Classic Sonic first, so that when you beat Act 2, that's the one where you unlock the character, and so then you hear the new line. As much as I would like to play the modern stage first because it's more fun, most of the time. What else? There was something else. Oh, I just today, before podcast recording went live, started playing Sonic Advance 3. As an aside here, should we mention this as our That One game? Since it's only 2 weeks away at this point?
Probably. That seems fine.
Okay, and it's logically where our next That One game would be. Okay. Sonic Advance 3, which is going to be our next episode. I pretty much immediately started having fun again with this game and was remembering a lot of things of like, oh yeah, there's a lot to this game. Like for 100%ing, it's greatly improved over Advance 2. 'Cause once you have a Chow, it's in your garden. You don't have to go back for it.
Yeah.
And it gives you an idea when you're in the garden. You press select, and it'll pop up with like a map of where you miss them. And I think it even has it like in a certain order too, so you know which act you need to go back to.
Mm.
Improved from Advance 2. I think they iterated on this more and more as later games came out, and I think the Red Rings is like the perfect version of this. Instead of 10 chows like in Advance 3, instead you're just getting 5 red rings, but you get to also know where it is, just like Sonic Advance 3. But as an early prototype for figuring this stuff out, they were definitely improved in Advance 3. I will say the first zone of Advance 3 is pretty dang rough. It's not very not very well designed in general, and there's a lot of beginners traps, which really suck.
Yeah.
It is cool that it's not just a Green Hill clone, but other than that, and the music being good, it doesn't have that much going for it. But yeah, other than playing Minecraft, and I have played a bit of Paradise or Burnout Paradise. Not too much going on. So I'll pass this over to Colin. What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Well, I'm still playing Final Fantasy X, working my way through that. Last time I played, I just got into the Calm Lands, so probably a little past the midway point in the story now. That sounds about right. Some big things happen, and then you get to this point. Pretty much it's definitely the big turning point in the story. So there's that. That's where I'm at. I'm wondering if I should immediately go and try and settle the score with the bane of my existence, that stupid chocobo race, or save it for later when I'm doing like side quests and clean up stuff once I have the airship. But I'm gonna try. I always do, to see if I can finally win that stupid race, but I don't know if I'll succeed. The closest I've gotten, like I've literally gotten it down to like a half second on the clock.
Wow.
And that was the point where I was like, okay, I'm done for now, as far as that goes. I have thrown PlayStation 2 controllers across the living room over this. It has haunted me for my entire life. But maybe this will be the time. Maybe playing it on the Switch will be just the magical difference that need to be made. Who knows? Stupid chocobos. Stupid giant yellow chickens.
That freaking Final Fantasy rappies.
Oh, yeah.
I have a disdain for yellow birds and JRPGs. Playing PSO.
Oh, yeah. There's another game that I've been playing that also ties pretty well into Sonic Month.
Hey.
I think now would be an appropriate time for a Sonic Frontiers Redemption arc.
Oh, yeah.
So I mentioned on the last episode that I was kind of in the mood to play some Sonic Frontiers. So I reinstalled it on my PS5. And then I beat it.
Damn.
And admittedly, I know I have been harsh on that game. I'm still not a big fan of collectathon video games. Like, I'm not just gonna now just suddenly go out and be like, oh my god, Banjo-Kazooie, I love this game, or Donkey Kong 64, I love this game, and stuff. But I still don't like that style of game. But I think once I really settled in to playing Frontiers with a different mindset, as opposed to when I first tried playing it, it's like I want to play and experience the story. Where this time I kind of approached it with the mindset of I'm just going to do cool Sonic stuff and just have fun doing cool Sonic stuff. And then when I have enough stuff to progress the story, I'll go and progress the story. And I think that worked out a lot better for me this time around.
Yeah, that was generally what I was doing my first time.
Yeah.
Although I ended up, because of the boss being a sticking point for me, I just stopped. And 100%ed everything. But yeah.
Did you go fishing with Testament or the cat?
I did.
Nice.
I did a lot of fishing toward the end, just because there was the final stage of the game. There is just a huge item collection requirement, and I had been picking up all the purple coins to go fishing with all throughout my playthrough, but I never found the Big the Cat fishing locations in any of the other islands until the very last one. So I hadn't been using those purple tokens to go fishing with. So I had a whole bunch stocked up. So I just spent probably a half an hour just messing around in the fishing and to get enough of the tokens that I needed to finish the story. But I think that's one thing that Sonic Frontiers in particular actually does a little bit better as a collectathon, is just that the core gameplay loop of just doing cool Sonic stuff is so good and so solid that it just makes it a lot more fun just to play it for that, as opposed to just strictly focusing on the story. And the story itself, it does get pretty good, but the problem is that just the pacing of it suffers so much by virtue of it being a collectathon to progress it. So I it's a really good game. I do want to say that much. I was definitely quick to be harsh on it back when I initially played it, but back when I initially played it, I wasn't approaching it from the correct frame of mind for this game in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Every single boss fight in this game was incredibly fun. They only get better as you go. That first one is just kind of like a really small tease from some of the really cool stuff that they do. I mean, none of them are like super ridiculously complicated at all. There was one, not the final boss fight, but one, this is like one or two bosses before the final boss that was a little bit tricky to figure out what they wanted you to do in a specific phase. But once I figured that out, it was still kind of annoying. But it was a cool fight. Just trying to get the boss to line up to where you wanted to line up for that specific phase was kind of a pain in the butt, but it was still fun. And all the music is phenomenal. So good. Every single song in that game is a banger. But yeah, Sonic Frontiers is good actually. There you go.
Maybe I should pick it back up.
There you go. I came around on it. I like Sonic Frontiers.
So for next year's Sonic Month, I can choose Sonic Frontiers as our TOG.
Next year's Sonic Month. Huh.
I'm kidding.
Look, there's a lot of Sonic stuff to cover. We haven't even touched the comics yet.
There's a lot of Sonic stuff.
We keep bringing them up, but we haven't talked about them
yet. Yeah.
I also reinstalled Hitman 3 yesterday, which is now Hitman World of Assassination. They basically combined the modern trilogy of Hitman games into one package and renamed it World of Assassination a couple years ago. And the reason I reinstalled it was because they announced on Friday night that they were adding a classic Bond villain from Casino Royale into the game as a limited time target. So it's Schuffer, something like that. Is the guy from Casino Royale. He's played by Mads Mikkelsen. So yeah, he's in the game right now as a target that you can assassinate or attempt to. And the whole mission is framed around a poker game, kind of like Casino Royale was. So that's kind of cool. I've taken a couple attempts at it already and not been successful. The only thing that I don't like about these special contracts that they do is they're all limited time, and you only get limited attempts at it as well. So there's like the main, they call it elusive targets mode, and that mode you get one try, and that's it. If you fail, you fail. But they added but they added an arcade version of at least some of these contracts. I don't know how expansive it is, if it's all of them or just some of them, but they added an arcade mode now that now if you fail, you have to wait 12 hours and then you can try it again. So it's a little bit less restrictive, but there's also a time restriction on a lot of these. And this one in particular, you can only do it through the end of, no, it's only available until the first week of July. And then I'd assume it's gone. So not really a big fan of that aspect of it, but the gameplay in Hitman is amazing. It's such a fun stealth game with just so many options, and there's such a fun sandbox to play in and stuff. Like there's disguises and many, many, many different ways that you can take out enemies and stuff. Like just today, I was playing one of the missions from the first game. It takes place in Bangkok, and there's this recording art. There's this rock star that you're supposed to assassinate, and they have this entire like top floor suite of this hotel rented out and converted into a recording studio. And one of the ways that you can kill him is there's this microphone that you learn about just through word of mouth from some of the guests around the hotel that are part of the recording crew, that it suffers from issues with electrocution if too much voltage is applied to it.
Mm.
And like apparently like people have died from using this microphone in the past because a voltage surge electrocuted them while they were recording with it and stuff. And for some reason the producer ordered this microphone because he wanted to use it for the sound or whatever for the vocal on this song. So you hear about this, you find out where that microphone is being stored, and you can go and grab the microphone, bring it into the recording studio disguised as one of the recording crew, set it up in the recording booth, and then when the guy goes in to record his vocal take, there's a little box that you can adjust the voltage of. There's like a little, you just interact with it to adjust the voltage, and when he's in there singing, you just push the button, voltage goes up, and it just electrocutes him to death. And then you just walk away like nothing happened. Because nobody would know it was you. It's just like there's so much silly stuff like that in that game. It's very, very fun.
It's gonna sound weird, but I'm fairly certain I've heard of a case where like an actual musician was electrocuted by their microphone. So this, I think, might have been based on a true event.
I mean, I believe it. Yeah, it's a really, really, really well made game. Very fun. But anyway, that's it. That's what I've been playing. It's time for our main topic discussion about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie trilogy.
Yeah.
Spoiler warning. We're not holding back
Seriously.
spoilers.
Yeah.
Nope.
So there you go. This is your warning that, like, I mean, we'll be talking about them in order. So if you've seen the first movie but not the second two, then you can listen until we get to the second movie and stop, or, you know, whatever. Listen up until the ones you haven't seen. Or you should just maybe go and watch them because they are some of the best video game movies that have been made.
Mm.
No joke. They're good.
Yeah.
I would also like to hold on a minute. I want to check something. Bum, 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 bum. Yes, I was correct. Interestingly, I thought this would be fun to point out that 50 episodes ago, in episode 25, we did our review of the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
that
a
is
fun
interesting.
coincidence that is.
Yeah. So here we are in episode 75, doing a retrospective on all three of the Sonic movies.
Mhm.
Do we know? This is unrelated. Do we know anything about the next Mario movie yet? Has there been any word of what that's going to be?
Nope.
They're like, well, Sonic's doing too good. We'll never do as well again because Mario is a terrible character and everything. Okay, I'm done. Sorry.
Yeah.
Went a little unhinged there. You can cut that out.
But why?
Just kind of made me think of like the old game theory episode where Matt Pat dissects Mario as potentially having antisocial personality disorder.
Right.
Anyway, Sonic movie trilogy. They're very good.
They are.
Very, very.
They're very good. And one thing I appreciate about them especially is like they seem to learn from each respective film. And so far as the films go, every one has been better than the last one.
Perhaps you could say they live and learn.
I will definitely say they get proceedingly better. The jump from 1 to 2 is a huge leap.
It is.
I will say.
Yeah.
The leap is bigger between the first one and the second one than it is between the second and the third. Not to say that leap is still there, isn't still there between 2 and 3, because it is. But
yeah, I remember when the first movie came out back in 2020. That wonderful year.
Yeah. Sonic
and
was the top box office success of the year.
Yep.
It sold more tickets than any other movie that year.
incredible.
Obviously, there's a huge asterisk, but
Yeah.
it's technically true.
Well, I mean,
I ain't complaining.
I'm pretty sure I saw it twice.
I've seen the first movie before we watched all three of them twice, and the second movie twice, because they both came to various, probably Prime, and I watched them both there. My opinion of the first one went down quite a bit when I rewatched it.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
I still like it.
I never said I
I'd say,
didn't.
well,
Yeah,
yeah.
same.
I mean, I would say I still like it about as much as I did when I initially watched it. I think
Gotcha.
for what it was, I mean, it was still a really good introduction to a live action Sonic, and it was
Yeah.
obvious from the onset, really, even before the film came out, that they were willing to listen to feedback on it, and it
Yep.
shows a lot, especially in the second and third movies.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we all know what Sonic almost looked like.
Yes.
They either listen to feedback or they're afraid of what will happen if they don't.
Yeah.
We
Good point.
like the general public did bully a movie production studio into changing the CG model used for Sonic.
Yeah. My source right now is old Twitter posts that I only am remembering from being around at the time. That there was when Ugly Sonic came out, someone said that Sega had talked to the movie studio and were like, "You should make him less realistic." Like this was as they're designing the character. That he looked too photorealistic and it didn't look good. But they were like, "Nah, we're gonna keep going with this design we've got here." Obviously, that panned out not great for them.
Oh yeah, that went very
Yep.
well for them.
Yeah.
Tyson Hess redrew a altered, or like a better looking version of the movie Sonic, and they said, one, we're going to use that design. Two, come help us make it into 3D. Tyson Hess being old webcomic artist of the comic Boxer Hockey, which had a random spin-off bit where he did a parody of the first three Sonic games, of Sonic meeting Tails and Knuckles, and that's where you hear "Nibbles the enchilada" was from that. I'm
Wow.
pushing the edge of our PG-ness here. There's a line where Knuckles says, "I can punch through stone with my rock hard fist nipples." It's great.
What?
Have you not heard of that? Oh gosh. I will post this in TOGP discussion when this episode is live.
Please do.
Great. I will say though, he then ended up from that and just being a good illustrator, ended up working for the comics post reboot Archie, and even more, he ended up being more of a cover person in the IDW time. So he was already connected with Sonic. It wasn't just like, oh, here's a random guy on Twitter who's making a better design. Let's join him. It wasn't even like, oh, he's known for being a Sonic creator. He was already with Sega. So
So it's cool they got a job working on Sonic movies because Paramount decided that they wanted to be terrible.
yeah. I always wondered if like Sonic's design was fine initially, and it came out, and there wasn't the huge publicity of the character looks terrible and then redeeming themselves, how it would have done.
Right.
Like if that actually was helped them get publicity, because I think like Jimmy Fallon and some of the other late night people were talking about it, and like these aren't video game. You don't generally talk about video games, but like it was all over everything.
Well, I mean, all publicity is good publicity, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true, unfortunately.
Especially in this internet age, getting more and more true.
Yeah. Like, it does just kind of lead to people doing a bunch of stupid stuff for attention.
Yep.
Sonic did Long Claw dirty. Don't at me.
Wait, what?
What?
How? Why?
For actually just not listening to his mother and being too reckless, and then he attracted the attention of the Echidna warriors that eventually led to Longclaw's demise.
Oh, yeah, that's right. See, I missed the very start of the first movie. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And then he does it again on Earth.
Yeah.
It's the attention of Robotnik.
Yep. And then he does it again in the next movie, and he gets the attention of Knuckles.
He's good at getting the attention of people that he shouldn't get the attention of.
Yeah.
Wait, no. No, Knuckles is getting the attention by Eggman, Robotnik. And Robotnik just knows where Sonic is, obviously.
Yeah, that's true. Right, it was his, like, temper tantrum at the baseball diamond that attracted the attention of Tails.
No, well, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was in the
attracted
first movie, and that
of everybody.
Yeah. The U.S. president. Did they give him a name? I don't think they gave the president a name. I think it was just the gun soldier guy, leader guy, Olive Garden guy.
President Soulja Boy.
I don't think,
Yeah,
at least in the game canon, U.S. president has a name. I think he's just U.S. president.
we gotta talk about the Olive Garden gag.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a
Like-
couple product placements.
Just
Yeah.
a couple.
Yeah.
Zillow is definitely a bit
Yep.
two on the nose.
Yeah.
It's like, I found this on Zillow. It's like, oh, you didn't just find it online. You found it on specifically Zillow.
Zillow, and the camera like pans to it and just sits there for just a few seconds too long.
Like, I'm not gonna deny that that's how Becca and I found our house, but like,
We know that Zillow canonically exists in the Sonic universe now,
yep.
Sonic movie universe.
and Olive Garden.
The Olive Garden was handled a lot better.
I love the Olive Garden bits.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
great.
They're so bad, but it's because
Like they
they're
knew
bad.
it
You
was
just
bad. Yeah.
yeah, it's because they're bad. You just kind of love them anyway.
Yeah. It's also a bit disappointing that they didn't go to the Olive Garden for their meeting
No,
with
they
the gun commander in
And they
Sonic
didn't reference
3.
it.
They didn't even reference it.
Yeah,
I was waiting for it.
Now that I think
That's-
about it, they were in Japan for that meeting, and I don't actually know
true.
if Japan has Olive Garden.
Olive Gardens. Oh, maybe they went for factual consistency over funny reference. Are there Olive Gardens in Japan? Hopefully, it knows about. I'm talking about the Olive Garden does not have restaurants in Japan. There you go.
That's unfortunate.
Yep.
Couldn't do the joke because someone was like, "Well, technically, on the writing team."
Yep.
But how can you be family in Japan then?
It's a good question, Mega Man.
We're spoiling Sonic 3 a bit. At least they went to a Chow Garden restaurant. And
That is true.
reference, yeah. But no, I remember when the first movie came out, people were talking about the very beginning of the movie with Locke, and like the echidnas showing up, and it's like a lot of people were saying that looked like a more interesting movie than what we ended up getting. But I definitely, now that they have sequels, I definitely think it works as setting up for whatever they're gonna do with the echidnas. I imagine something.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they don't step on Ken Pender's toes too much.
Break his toes.
Break Ken Pender's toe.
You're
Break his hands so he can't write.
You're in a squid. Nah.
Break every bone in Ken Bender's body from the waist down.
Woof. All right, now we're getting kind of cruel.
Yeah.
He is a person too.
Put the bend in
He is.
Ken Bender.
He is a person that seems like they saw the cover of In the Court of the Crimson King and decided that's what I want my art style to be.
I mean, some of the times when he's like drawing inside the book, it doesn't look as bad. It's a lot of stuff where you can't pick out, oh, that's Ken Bender's, but that man does get a lot of hate, maybe more than he should, but he does also deserve a lot of hate.
He almost cost Sega Knuckles in the divorce.
Yeah. He also like purposely screwed over Ben Hurst's chances for getting a movie made of Sad AM season 3. Yeah.
Well, I still don't retract my break every bone in his body from the way he lays down statement now.
But yeah, since we're discussing
He cost
this,
us more Sad AM. That's unforgivable.
right? Ken Penders did make some appearances on social media about it because I think it was this is in movie 2, but they mentioned an all-powerful echidna, and that was enough for Ken Penders to be like, "That was my idea. It was my idea to have a villainous, powerful echidna, and they're stealing ideas from me again." And it's like the echidnas are characters. They were in Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure 1. You can't just
you stole ideas from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, basically.
you all have the rights for Sonic 3 and Knuckles to base stuff off of. It's not your idea completely to just have a evil echidna.
It's like Santa Cruz Operation thinking that they owned the copyright to Linux because they had, or it was something incredibly stupid. It's like they were suing a bunch of companies that had switched from SCO Unixware to Linux, claiming that Linux was a violation of their copyright because they, air quotes, owned the copyright to Unix, when it turns out it was Novell that owned the Unix copyright and source code at the time. So yeah. So yeah, I guess Ken Penders is like the SCO group of Sonic.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about how Sonic's powers are represented with the like blue lightning and like just his quill being like crazy powerful, specifically in the first movie, but also as it affects the other ones?
It's definitely interesting. I mean, I'm not terribly well versed in Sonic lore, but like,
yeah, that's generally not how it is.
Yeah, it's like he seems. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense given the whole like being able to turn supersonic with the power of the Chaos Emeralds. Like, without the Chaos Emeralds, it makes sense that there would be some sort of innate higher power level than.
Yeah. I think it was they needed a MacGuffin for power that Sonic had, and they didn't want to bring in Chaos Emeralds yet. I think that's probably what they did.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting. The Jim Carrey interacting with quills is interesting too.
Yeah. Just taking hits off it like it's a recreational drug of some sort.
Yeah, basically. It's like
love
sniffing
that bit.
markers, but it's a quill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, never mind. Quills were used in the past to write, just like Sharpie markers are used to write today. Jim Carrey definitely carried the first movie. Maybe a bit of the second one too.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
His portrayal of Robotnik is genius. No pun intended.
Right. I like that he gets crazier over the course of the movies too.
Yeah. He just becomes increasingly Jim Carrey.
Yes. Jim Carrey just gets to have fun being Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a kind of a big shock, like, between Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 when he announced that he was, like, retiring / going on an extended hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, wait a second. Who's gonna Robotnik now? We don't want to recast.
Right.
We like Jim Carrey.
Right.
And, like, he had mentioned in that interview that, like, maybe if it's like the perfect script and it's delivered to me in like 24 karat gold ink, then I will consider it. And then the studio actually proceeded to give him his very own copy of the Sonic 3 script in 24
Really?
karat gold ink.
I did not know that. That is fantastic.
Yeah. He's further gone on the record to say it's like, well, quite frankly, I need the money, but also I
Yeah.
just enjoyed playing this role, so I'll keep at it.
Right. Yeah, I'm honestly not the biggest Jim Carrey fan, but like he's
What?
fine for me. Yeah. I haven't seen a ton of the big ones. It's not that I dislike him. It's just that I'm not
Okay.
well versed in
Not
all
well
his
versed.
movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
That big. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was worried.
Yeah. Don't have to come at me with attacks yet.
Yeah. But the Jim Carrey isms are like they blend so well with Dr. Robotnik as I think of them.
Yeah. Definitely think it would be cool, like if they replace him, or even if he keeps going, to have a version of Eggman show up again that is more dark, like some of the games, more recent
Yeah.
games and comics. That would be a little cool, pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
We sort of saw the reverse of that with Gerald Robotnik and Ivo Robotnik in towards the end of Sonic 3. It's like Gerald hell-bent on just destroying the world because revenge, and Ivo has a sort of like moment of clarity. It's like I don't want to destroy the world though.
right. Well, that is basically what happens in Sonic Adventure 2, which is why I haven't stopped you
Oh,
from
okay.
spoiling this. Yeah, I mean, Gerald Robotnik isn't there in Sonic Adventure 2. He died, but his tape comes up on art, and he has rigged it that once this gets to a certain point, um, then yeah, the Eclipse Cannon will fire at Earth and destroy it. And then Eggman at the end is like, okay, I'll help the animals here fix this. And it's Shadow who's still wanting to destroy the Earth too.
Oh,
It's Amy who talks him out of it and says that can't be what Maria wanted.
Amy's too powerful.
Yeah. So yeah, it takes a last minute reversal for Shadow to like say, okay, I'll help you stop. I think I don't remember exactly how it goes, but like Shadow fights BioLizard, and then BioLizard becomes Final Hazard and attaches itself to the entire ship and pulls it towards Earth. Because at this point, the rest of the heroes and Eggman had worked together to um, just to deactivate the cannon. Yeah, Shadow beats BioLizard. BioLizard teleports away. Shadow's like, "Was that gas control?" And then BioLizard pulls the arc towards the planet as like, "Well, I can't shoot the laser. I might as well crash this into Earth or Mobius or whatever you want to call it." Yeah,
We're doing the old-fashioned Mobile Suit Gundam colony drop.
yeah, basically. But yeah, it's sort of similar how it played out. I mean, obviously, I don't have Amy in the third one, and obviously, I don't have Gerald Robotnik there. But Gerald Robotnik was kind of needed to be there plot wise if they weren't going to do BioLizard. So honestly, I kind of like how they handled it.
Yeah.
Because BioLizard is kind of a weird concept.
Yep.
He's the prototype of Shadow somehow.
A bit weird that would mean that they're sort of brothers.
Yes. The fan cannon, and this might have become canon since Ian Flynn started optimizing the cannon. The fan cannon is that Gerald Robotnik designed the ultimate life form after the like murals and carvings in Hidden Palace Zone, where they have supersonic fighting Eggman. But there's also in similar ruins in Sonic Adventure 1 of Chaos that he designed the ultimate life form based off of Chaos's designs. And when that didn't work out, he was like, well, let's go to this other carving of Sonic fighting some kind of robot from Sonic 3's Hidden Palace. And so that's how he went from Giant Lizard to Hedgehog, was because he was basing this off various designs in the Echidna ruins and such.
Mhm.
All that to say, unless they put that in, which they couldn't because Chaos wasn't a thing, Violet Lizard would just be totally weird.
As opposed to what it currently is.
Oh, in the movie?
I mean, it's definitely kind of weird in the movie. It's a very blink and you miss it appearance.
Yeah, that was neat. Actually, that's one thing we could talk about is the references. Even in the first one, they had some like cool references.
Yeah.
They had the Sega Saturn logo on Sonic's little map in the first movie. Obviously, Green Hills is a reference to Green Hill Zone. There was also a sign for Hilltop Zone. I think it just said Hilltop.
Yeah, it got to the point where like we were just kind of memeing on it to death and watching Sonic 3. It's like, is that a blank reference?
Right? Yeah, there was so many in 3. Like, obviously, we mentioned BioLizard. There's definitely multiple references to the Shadow the Hedgehog game cutscenes. There was like a one-to-one reference of the one where Sonic is maybe slightly implied to be dying to Shadow's hand behind him.
Shadow had a gun. It's a reference to the time that Shadow had a gun.
Yep. Yeah. And he had a motorcycle too.
Yep. It's a reference to the time Shadow had a motorcycle.
Which was a couple times technically.
Yeah. He's got a thing for him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely less cool modes of transportation.
Fair enough.
You could be driving a 2010 Dodge with like 200,000 miles on it. That wouldn't be cool. Ask me how I know.
Could be driving a white Malibu. That'd be pretty. I don't want to say not cool, but
Yeah.
not fitting the character.
Yeah.
Sonic just drives up, or Shadow just drives up, driving a Prius. This is unexpected.
The ultimate fuel efficiency, Sonic.
Yeah, right. It said that I haven't played enough with Shadow to know if you can drive a motorcycle. You can drive him with a motorcycle in Sonic 06 as Shadow. Because that's his thing, is he has vehicles. But the motorcycle is like stupid slow.
Yeah. But it's Knuckles. They're not Knuckles. It's Shadow on a motorcycle. That feels like it kind of makes up for it.
I guess. He can run faster.
Yeah, I suppose.
And it's
But he
not
looks
like
cooler.
in the racing games. It's not like the racing games where Sonic's being fair to everybody else. He's just driving a motorcycle because he thinks he's the ultimate badass.
Yeah. Which, I
Who
mean,
apparently drives at like 30 miles per hour.
well, I mean, it's a V-twin. Not to knock on motorcycles, but like a 2-cylinder is only gonna go so fast.
Unless you're Shadow in the movies, apparently, which like he was able to give his speed to the motorcycle or something and teleport with it.
Yeah.
That was super cool, honestly.
Yeah.
Didn't make a ton of sense, but damn, did it look cool.
Yep. The funny thing about cool things is that they don't have to make sense if they're cool.
Right?
It's funny the like recurring gag in Sonic 2 where everyone wanted to shake Knuckles' hand.
Right.
Went poorly.
Yes. Very poorly.
And then like the team's first encounter with Shadow and Sonic 3, Knuckles finally gets to experience the Knuckles handshake.
Oh, God. Took me a second to get that right. People, when that was in the trailers, and I saw multiple people on social media being saying he turned the fist the wrong way to be the most painful. But I definitely think that's a case of they didn't want kids trying it.
That's fair. Kids should not be trying to break other kids' wrists, especially in imitatable hedgehog violence. A lot of really good fight scenes.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the better things. I definitely enjoy them being like very much a lot of unique power sets.
Yeah.
It's not just like an action movie where it's fisticuffs and guns and that's it. There's a
Yep.
mix of all those things.
Yeah. Like Knuckles being just a straight up menace in Sonic 2. It's like it was Sonic attempting to get the drop on him and just like stopping him dead with one hand.
Right. Yep. Yeah, that was in the trailers. Everybody loved that bit.
Yeah. And then Shadow straight up matching speeds with Sonic everywhere throughout Sonic 3.
Yep. Plus he can teleport.
Yeah. And then, obviously the once the Master Emerald gets involved in the plot there, like both Sonic and Shadow going super and then pretty much coming to a stalemate.
Yes. Yep. Which makes sense. That's probably how it would be in the games.
Yeah.
If they thought. Which I don't think they have.
Yep. I can't believe Blue Goku hasn't faced off against Black Vegeta like that. Of course, I suppose, how much world do you want to have left after that?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm glad they didn't go for a bunch of I don't think they did. A bunch of the stereotypical superhero flying around and destroying a city. They had that from the beginning when it was just Shadow.
Yeah.
But like superhero fightings, Green Hills got messed up a little bit at the end of 2, but then the rest of that battle was just in a forest. So
yeah, it's actually kind of interesting to think about. Like Shadow is the ultimate life form, and meanwhile, just some random hedgehog that is fast is holding their own against him.
That's the power of friendship.
That outside of the main Sega characters, though, they came up with some great supporting people for them.
Yeah. Donut Lord is pretty good.
Donut Lord good.
The name of
Donut Lord's crazy sister-in-law. Fantastic.
Oh yeah, she's pretty good. She's pretty good. They
Uh-huh.
definitely needed less of her scenes, but like as a one-off character that only shows up a little bit, she's pretty good.
Yeah. The wedding in Sonic 2 was amazing.
Yeah, a lot of people say that was the worst part of the movie, which I disagree. I think the dance fight is more pointless, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the wedding scene.
Yeah.
Operation Catfish. So fucking mean.
Uh-huh.
Did that.
And honestly, I love that they still ended up together and that it wasn't
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly just a cover-up to get to Sonic.
Yeah, I do like that that's how that played out, rather than just being a because that would be kind of a downer.
Yeah.
even for this character that most people don't like. Yeah, I love the bit where she's like, "Is any of this real?" She looks at the priest. The priest opens his Bible and there's a gun compartment in it. Taser.
Yeah. It's like, you wouldn't shoot that. You don't even know if that's a real gun. I'm about to find out. Shoots the wedding cake.
Immediately hands up. The cake literally explodes.
Uh-huh. That was
fire and green.
It was like Men in Black shooting the midget crickets for the first time. Or the noisy crickets. Why would Tom trust Sonic to watch the house?
Well, he was very good at cleaning everything up.
That is true.
he got a phone call and he was like cleaned everything up and answered the phone.
Yep.
You know, it just rang a second. I'm the fastest thing in the universe, but it takes me a second to get to the phone.
Yeah.
But what gives it away is like Sonic being like, everything's great here. And Tom's like, yeah, I assumed. Why are you saying it like that?
Yeah, like surely it isn't a problem if you had to introduce it like that. Definitely.
Right.
Did we want to take some time to speculate what they might be doing with the potential for a fourth one?
Yeah, a fourth one.
Yeah.
So
Where do they go from?
a lot of people actually there is some uh quotes of people saying that it's maybe these are rumors. I've heard people talking about the fact that they might do time travel mechanics. I've seen that associated with Sonic 4.
That does kind of make sense given the characters introduced in the
Mm-hmm.
post-credit scene
Mm-hmm.
and what game they both originated from.
Right. Amy was definitely her. I'm not sure what Amy looked like. I mean, I can picture her face, but what was she wearing?
Like a brown cloak.
Actually, yeah, okay. We don't get to see her design yet. Clever.
Not really. Yeah, outside of like her, headshot, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the hammer.
Yeah. Camera looks pretty good here.
Yeah.
It's got pink lights. Oh, because she has the pink energy. Yeah.
Yep.
Pico. Just Amy's role in Sonic the Hedgehog 4, other than the fact that she and Metal Sonic are set to play major roles, and the 4 is in her color of pink. I mean, they've been introducing characters. Nope, that's not right. That's not right at all. They did Sonic, Tails and Knuckles, and Shadow, technically Gerald Robotnik. So yeah, it is totally out of order from the games, but
Yes.
I think you can definitely tell that the writers of these movies really wanted to get to Sonic 3 and the Adventure 2 stuff.
Yeah.
That like how much things were banging on all cylinders for Sonic 3.
Yep.
Shadow was represented really well.
Yeah.
Like the team that animated it is the same team, including Jeff Fowler, I'm pretty sure, that animated the Shadow the Hedgehog pre-rendered cutscenes.
Oh.
Which Sega and Sonic Team outsourced to them instead of doing it in-house, which is why that game is the first one to have the pre-rendered scenes looking really, really good.
Yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense that like Shadow is their thing.
Yeah.
And like we mentioned, the Sonic getting killed thing, that they animated that originally, so self-referential technically.
Yeah.
But yeah, they revealed Tails in the first end scene, which seemed logical. Pretty cool that we ended up getting Knuckles too, and then Shadow was at the end of Sonic 2, which was really hype in the theaters at the time. Although Colin, you and me saw it in theaters together, right? Remembering correctly?
I think so.
I think so.
We definitely all saw Sonic 2 as a group, except for Lucas,
Yes.
because
I either couldn't make it in time for the screening or I didn't have ticket money.
I think it was a
Or
time
both.
restriction.
yeah, I think it
Or
was
both.
a timing issue.
Yeah, because we probably would have gotten together some money to have you be able to come. Yeah, what I remember at the end of Sonic 2 was that a lot of the theater emptied, but like a few people stayed around, and then they got Shadow because I think they went into like the animated like main title end titles, and then they had the Shadow thing. So what was left of the theater definitely did go crazy for Shadow.
Yeah. It's like if there would have been a huge pop if they stuck around for the end credit scene, which thanks Marvel for kind of ruining that for everyone.
Yeah, it's become kind of just it's an end credits scene.
Yep.
It's
a movie, it's gotta have one now.
Yeah. I definitely still appreciated it because it does give you a reason to sit through the credits, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Sonic 3 had 2 of them. One of it we talked about Amy showing up, Metal Sonic showing up, even more Metal Sonics showing up. That was a thing. I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Design seemed to look pretty much just right on model. Kind of hard to see because the whole thing was at night.
Mm.
Metal Sonic is one of those characters where his design is perfect.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't change that too much, and it doesn't look like they have.
Yeah. I do kind of hope we get to see the other variations of the Metal Sonic family too.
Oh yeah. Muckles and males.
Yeah. Or even like Silver Sonic and Mecha Sonic.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I still think Metal Sonic's the best design of the group, but
Oh yeah,
it'd still
definitely.
be cool to see him.
Yeah. If they did how
Even
Archie
if it's
handled Silver Sonic, that'd be pretty cool where he's giant. That was super neat. Because he is taller than Sonic in Sonic 2, but not as tall as they make him in the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna. I feel like they've shot themselves in the foot with it. Because like Metal Sonic shows up, it's like holy crap, it's Metal Sonic, and then how exactly does it go? Do more of them show up, and then
Yeah.
Amy destroys all of them?
Yep.
And it's like, okay, Amy just apparently these things aren't that strong because Amy just destroyed 20 of them with ease. Like I know strength-wise, Amy's probably stronger than Sonic, but still.
Yeah.
These are already established as fodder, and we haven't even gotten through the opening act of the movie that they're from.
Yep.
Which then would make it pretty cool if, like, okay, now we have Silver Sonic, like Mecha Sonic from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I could. What's that name of? When I played Sonic Knuckles on stream, or Knuckles Chaotix on stream rather.
Yeah.
There was the giant red one at the end of that one.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Doesn't seem like they'd pull from Knuckles Chaotix.
Which is a shame. Poor Knuckles Chaotix never gets any love.
There's not much to love about it.
Yeah. It is a perfectly average Sonic but not Sonic game.
Yes.
It's a game that looks good.
It looks amazing. The art direction is awesome.
Yeah. It's like
For context for people,
really good use of the Sega 32X's graphics.
yeah. For context for people, because a lot of people don't know what we're talking about. Knuckles Chaotix was a spin-off game that was specifically for the add-on to the Genesis called 32X. I believe it was like 32-bit cartridges instead of 32-bit discs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the same dual CPU architecture as the Sega Saturn, but with a different graphics chip for some reason.
So they needed a Sonic title.
They could have just made it the same graphics chip and then made it so that 32X cartridges could also play on the Saturn, and they both probably would have sold a okay amount.
Yeah. Sega at that time was kind of floundering. But yeah, Knuckles Chaotix was the headlining Sonic game, and it features this weird team mechanic where each character is stuck to each other, and the level design is wonky because it has to like design itself around that mechanic, which is really strange.
Yep.
There's way too many acts, and there's not enough like distinction between acts and zones.
Yep.
And it is though what introduced the chaotix, which is like Charmy and Vector, Espio, Mighty shows up in it. But other than that, yeah, it's a weird game most people haven't played, and it's definitely not something that I say go out of your way and play this unless you're really a huge Sonic fan. And even so, I would say, don't get a 32X and buy the game. It's way too much money. Play it through other ways, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like a Knuckles or like a Sonic Gems collection, I think.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Wow.
No, that just had Sonic CD.
Huh. Oh, the other
Yeah.
expensive add-on for the Sega Genesis.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, that game did introduce kind of extra characters that are cool, like Vector and all them. Which I have heard people saying, "What if Vector and the Chaotix are at the end of Sonic 4's behind this after credit scene?" It's like there's so many characters at this point, though, that they could do. Silver. I've heard people talking about Silver showing up for Sonic 5. Rouge hasn't shown up yet.
Yep.
Cream hasn't shown up yet. I wouldn't be surprised if Cream
I mean-
shows up as in Sonic 4 just as like a partner for Amy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess technically the egg bots have shown up, even though we haven't specifically seen like Gamma or Omega yet.
Yeah, we saw the crab meat in Sonic 3.
Yep.
And obviously he's got the little egg robot drone things.
Yep.
Which is where the name Eggman came from in this universe. Which is weird.
Yeah.
Because he's not fat. Well, he is fat later on, but like in the first movie, he's not fat, so it doesn't make sense to call him Eggman for what
Yep.
it's supposed to be. And probably some people are like, we shouldn't make that joke in 2025.
Yep.
Pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Looks better.
Yeah, the whole series is solid, which honestly, historically up to that point with the Sonic the Hedgehog movies is kind of a questionable thing with video game adaptations. There was a lot of misses and not very many hits with video game movie adaptations.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like the good ones were kind of like not super amazing. Like, what was it? Detective Pikachu. People were like, "This is good," but it like didn't set the world on fire or anything, and it didn't get enough to start a franchise or anything. We reviewed
They are
that.
right. You look like a Pokemon. Ha 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 ha.
Oh yeah, Pokemon were referenced in the movie universe. Weird.
Yeah,
that's a
that's a
direct
bit of a head
reference.
scratcher. Is that Pokemon apparently exists in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie canon?
Apparently, so like Nintendo games exist, which would mean
In a Sega universe.
so that, but then like the Nintendo Sega joint games can't exist, right? So they couldn't have Sega games.
Right.
They just couldn't have Sonic games necessarily. They could have Sega games technically.
Yeah.
But then like stuff like Mario and Sonic at the Olympics can't exist because that'd be too meta.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Paramount? It's a throwaway joke, but it ruins the entire continuity of the series.
Oh, weird. It was distributed by Warner Brothers too, which makes even less sense why that's showing up in a Paramount film.
I mean, they also reference they just reference pop culture in general is the thing.
Yeah.
In 2, they reference Knuckles as the Winter Soldier, which those two students aren't attached at all.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just like a pretty ubiquitous reference. Pretty much everybody at least has heard of Pokemon, even if they don't know what exactly a Pokemon is necessarily.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. Overall, though, Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie franchise, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, it does bring a lot of hope to video game movies.
Yeah, like it's kind of become the example of like what a good video game movie adaptation should be.
Yeah, super early in the podcast when Colin and I did watch the movie, we were like, "The ball's in your court, Mario." Mario, I'd say the Mario movie was maybe between 1 and 2, but closer to 2 on par. It was also, hey, we've got another good video game movie that everybody liked.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think go ahead.
Yeah, it's sort of like forcing anyone interested in adapting a video game to a movie to kind of like reconsider the level of quality they have to put into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It seems like getting this to work requires like we just make a movie that appeals to pretty much everybody. Because I feel like most of the examples have been like all ages movies, with an amount of like stuff that parents can appreciate.
Yep.
90s games seem to be the best because like the parents probably played some of these games growing up.
Yep.
And also their kids are into the characters because they're on TV or Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
And video games, that too, obviously.
Yeah.
That one gaming adaptation podcast.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else about movies I want to discuss. You guys got anything?
I think I'm good. I could probably keep going if I wanted to, but I don't. So,
Yeah.
Colin, you got anything over there?
Over where?
Over where you are?
Where am I?
Two icons above me.
I just stepped back through a ring portal. I am here. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Let's move on to our link to the past. Bum, bum, bum. Turns out not a lot of notable games released this week. There's some, but they're slim pickings.
Yeah.
But we found something that released the day this episode goes live, June 11th. But 4 years ago. See, that's how slim pickings are. We got a relatively recent game for our Link to the Past this week.
It's not like the Game Boy Advance came out 24 years ago.
Pretty sure we discussed that at some point already.
Yeah, I was just
think
about to
so.
say.
Yeah. Like we've yeah. Now that you mention it, we've definitely done that before. And it makes sense that it would be up again because we've moved our episode release dates back a day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But yeah, anyway, we're not talking about the Game Boy Advance again, but June 11th is the day this episode goes live, back in 2021. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I almost said Rift Apart because Rift Apart sounds like Ripped Apart.
Yeah.
That's what they're
In
going
classic
for.
Ratchet and Clank naming schemes. Yep. Yeah. That was a fantastic game. I really enjoyed it. That was one of the first games I bought when I got my PS5.
Understandable.
Yeah. It was very, very good and very fun to play through. It introduced alternate universe versions of Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
And they were awesome. And Rivet is voiced by Jennifer Hale.
Hell yeah.
Mm.
I love her voice work as the Hurt sounds in Metroid Prime. But really, though, Samus was very briefly as the Hurt sounds in the Metroid Prime games, voiced by Jennifer Hale. A decision that they should have continued further on with the other M. But,
yeah. Have her as the Hurt sound and somebody else as her vocal lines. Right? That's what you mean.
Oh yeah, definitely. Not like yeah. Love to see a new Ratchet and Clank game. I appreciate that Insomniac continues to actually make games for their franchises that aren't the same one over and over again. Like new hit game The Last of Us for the PlayStation 5, not to be confused with The Last of Us on the PlayStation 3.
I have that one on my shelf.
Probably going to release on PlayStation 4. I wouldn't doubt it. That's all Naughty Dog does anymore.
We did get a bunch of gaming news, and maybe this was a previous release, but Naughty Dog is making something, right? Space or something?
Yeah, they've got a sci-fi game coming out. Probably in like 2 years.
The Last of Us.
The Last of Us in space.
Yeah. Making a new game in space. And
Space. The last frontier of us.
And the last U.S. frontier.
There will be. It's a survival-ish story, and you have to survive zombies that have been turned into zombies by some sort of cordyceps.
Space.
We've let this one get pretty away from.
But yeah, Rift Apart was really good, and the portal mechanics
Right.
were really fun. And Ratchet and Clank is great.
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank is always good.
I
Yeah.
hope
Unless
we get
except
another
some
one
of the spin-offs.
sometime soon.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years now.
Has there been more than one PS4 version of Ratchet and Clank? Or was it just the one?
You know what? Now that you mention it, I think it was just the remake, and that was it.
I think so too. Ratchet and Clank better not be a once per consoles generation thing.
It's starting to
Yeah.
slow down. That's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a ton of them on the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, spin-offs and even just the mainline one, because they had whatever the first one is called, and then Quest for Booty
The one that I
was a
bought
downloadable.
twice.
Track and Time, and then Into the Nexus were all mainline ones. And there are at least 2 other spin-offs I can think of too.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move
Anyway,
along to the outro sequence. That's the end of episode 75. Lucas, where can you be found outside the podcast?
Find me on Linktree at linktr.ee/Karn_evil_999. Got links to my YouTube channel where I post videos of our playthroughs of our games that we talk about during our that one game series of episodes. Also join the TOGP Discord, catch up on all of our past episodes there, and follow me on social medias if you desire on Blue Sky, and add me on Steam if you want to see what I'm playing on that when I play games on that. Yeah, that's link.tr/Karn or linktr.ee/Karn_evil_999.
Where can Neal be found?
I'm also on Linktree, linktr.ee/VMK89. A bunch of my links are there between podcast stuff, my YouTube, my Twitch, and I think I've still got my Twitter/X account on there. I should probably update that at some point. But you can find some of my stuff there. Colin, how about you?
linktr.ee/delicious morsels. It's down to I'm stuttering. Why am I stuttering? It is down in the description where you can click a link to get all of my links. I have a new song out this week. A new original song out this week titled Your Voice, featuring Kasane Tedo on vocals. It is one of my favorite songs I've ever written, and it's finally out in the world. I've been sitting on this song for like 2 months, and it's been killing me, but now it's out, and I'm very excited about it. So you should go check it out, because it's there now, and you can do that. linktr.ee/delicious morsels for all your delicious morsels linking needs. And as always, if you liked what you heard here today, please be sure to hit the subscribe button where that's an option. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts because I hear they like that stuff. Hit the like button if that is a thing. And feel free to share this episode with a friend. We are going to be back in a couple weeks with another episode. But until then, have a wonderful rest of your day. And remember,
play for the revenge guac.
Stay for the